We're going to take you through kind of a general setup for calling when we go out. This is pretty much how we do most of our call-ins. We'll start with a siren, then go into a howl maybe, then into the rabbit distresses and the squeakers. Merv, you usually do the sirening when we're out, so I'll let you go ahead and talk about that.
We'll use a siren in an area where we think there's coyotes and get a general location on them. And it's a lot easier to go in and make a setup if you know where the coyotes are at. Wind direction, terrain, and everything like that, you can make a pretty good setup. If you just go out and call, which you can do that, like in the wintertime and stuff like that, you'll have success. But if you do your location first, your success will be a lot greater than if you don't locate them.
That's what I've noticed too. When we use the siren, all of our setups, I mean, you have a great chance of calling in a coyote.
Early in the morning, late in the evening, coyotes naturally howl a lot better than they do during the middle of the day. Sometimes in the wintertime you can get them howled throughout the whole day. Depends upon the temperature and weather conditions and stuff like that. Locating pups this time of the year when it's hot in the summertime, you can pinpoint those exact locations where they're at, and you can get the interaction between the adults, the callings, your challenges and stuff like that a lot better if you get right into their territory.
Right.
So a siren really works good for that, for locating them.
Now, if you don't get a coyote to answer a siren, you can go in with the howls.
You can go into a howl. I like to locate the coyotes with the siren and then use the howls after you go in and set up.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of into their territory and you challenge them with a howl. That way you're not using your howl to locate them and they're coming to the howl where you've located, and then you have to go make a setup.
Right.
Because that sometimes ruins the opportunity to use the howl after you've got into the setup. So that's the reason I like to use the siren to locate them, and the howl after you've gone in. So
now, as far as howls, we have two different howlers, and I think you prefer using the power howler.
Power howler, I think, imitates a mature male coyote more so, and it works really good for locating if you don't have a siren, or it works good for a challenge howl. And to me, it's a dominant male coyote, you know. And what I do with this type of dominant male call is like that. Kind of a lonesome howl. I'll draw that out a lot more. I'll go.
Sounds good. I've noticed, I've used it quite a bit doing like more your challenge howls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can get your barks and your canine distress all off of that as well. And I noticed we have a little different blowing style.
Yeah, I'll put that whole call in my mouth and blow air through the bottom, and I see that you just set it against your lip.
Well, sometimes I'll just set it up against my lip, or I'll put my teeth in that top groove.
Oh,
Either
okay.
way, it kind of depends on what I want to do. You can just get them barks, just that quick force of air out of there gives you those barks.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much the same thing with the canine distress, just extend your air out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now when I go to a canine distress,
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to the yoke buster call, which works good for a rabbit call, canine distress, a lot of different calls.
Right.
And what I'll do there is, with this, I bring it right out to the tip of the reed, or the end of the reed, in my mouth, set my teeth on it.
It gives that
That's what I call that canine distress call.
That high-pitched shrill on the end of
pitch.
that.
And that after the challenge howl, and if you're in, and a lot of times after you shoot one coyote, you can go to this and stop the second one, and even bring him back in. And it works works really good.
Yeah.
Works really good.
One,
You use this call as also makes a kind of aggressive canine distress.
yeah, kind of a
feeding.
mock coyote fight type. It gets you growling and you're yipping.
I haven't mastered that yet.
And how I do that is I fully extend the reed out, and then use a little bit of voice in there just to growl yourself as you're blowing to get that growly sound, and then do like what you're doing on the very end, getting that high pitched yip.
That really works good sometimes.
It does. It does. When all else fails, that's usually what I'll go to.
I noticed that you slide your call pretty much out. A lot of people can't blow this call with the reed fully extended. They don't have the experience on the open reed call.
Right.
So you can drag this call back in part way and lock it and use it like we do with the distance on our teeth or our lips on it.
Exactly.
So you can blow it that way. Works excellent.
Yeah. One other thing I want to point out too, Merv, is on this yoke buster. It's it does all your rabbit sounds, all your rabbit distress from cottontail, just the higher pitched sounds to your jackrabbit, your lower pitched sounds. And like you were talking, you can move that reed in a little bit for your cottontail, because the further down you go on the reed, the higher the pitch. And you go all the way open for your jackrabbit. Once you learn to blow it, you can just extend it out the whole way, and the further down you go, the higher the pitch. Just like that. And so you can do your jackrabbits to your cottontail. And you can do your canine distress and all that on there. So it's a very versatile call, good wintertime call, because it won't freeze up on you if it does get some ice crystals in there. Just thaw it out in your mouth that quick. You can take it out and click your reed off. It's excellent winter call.
Ryan, I'll even use the yoke buster for a howl because it's just another change up from the power howler or the yoke howler.
Right.
And the way I do that, I just bark into it and just bring it out just like you do any other open reed. Works excellent.
You've got a little high-pitched shrill one.
It works really good. I know a guy that uses this for everything, for the rabbit call, the pup distress, the howl, everything. He uses the yoke buster. And what's nice also about this call is that you can bring that reed in, you put it in your pocket, you get rough with it. You don't have to worry about breaking the reed getting dirty or anything like that. So, works excellent.
One thing I like about this call, Merv, I've noticed if we go into a set and you're calling, because our calling techniques are so different, but we use the same call.
Right.
We can, if we don't get the coyotes to come in on that first setup, we can move around and do another setup using the same call, but just a different caller, and you get totally different sounds.
Exactly.
Which is nice.
Exactly.
On that canine distress we're talking about, I like to use a canine distress on the yoke or the yoke howler as well. And it gets again just a different sound to your distress sounds. Just a different pitch.
Right.
If especially in areas that have called a lot,
Mm-hmm.
You get different sounds in there that they haven't heard. And this howler here makes a nice high pitch howl.
It does. I think what I consider this as a male type of howl, I consider that either a young mature coyote or a female coyote.
Right.
Makes a higher pitch sound.
Now you use this call, you can get pretty aggressive on it, don't you?
I'll use that same call sometimes when I've got another coyote and trying to get the second coyote, and I call it the nervous coyote bark because you've heard these coyotes on these tapes and stuff where there's something wrong.
Right.
And they know there's something wrong, and they're nervous, and it's a
Like when they're coming in on the dogs.
it's a chop bark.
Yeah.
You know, and it's and you'll hear them doing that, and it'll bring a lot of other coyotes in too when they're doing that, because there's something wrong. They're putting kind of out the alarm, and it gathers the coyotes up.
Yeah.
And it'll.
Now, a lot of guys, when you got coyotes coming in onto a set, one guy doesn't know there's a coyote coming, but the other guy does, and you don't want to holler, "Hey!" Exactly, a squeaker, great tool for communication between the hunters. We use it a lot with our filming. We know when the filmer's squeaking, he's on the coyote. It's ready to go. But also, I've seen this call in coyotes. Just this call, just by doing that, for as far as the eye can see.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing how those coyotes can hear that sound.
Exactly.
And will just beeline right to where you're at.
I'll use this a lot of times if you go in an area that you know that's been rabbit called, and it's a high kind of a profile area, not profile, but a high calling area where a lot of people have been trying to call, and the coyotes are a little bit sensitive, a little bit call shy.
Right.
Slip in there, kind of get into their territory, and just like that.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And I've seen coyotes come for half, 3/4 of a mile to nothing except just a squeak.
Yeah.
Works excellent.
One nice thing on that squeaker is it's got the loop on there. Like, see, I got mine clipped to my binoculars. I got a set taped onto my shooting sticks, but the way it was designed was to slide that right down your gun barrel.
And I got one on my gun barrel.
And you can be on that coyote when he's moving, and as soon as he stops, you're right there on him.
Although I have had them keep coming to the squeak.
Yeah.
You're trying to stop them, and they're still coming. But it works excellent.
Yeah. It's probably one of the best tools you can have
I think
for
so.
coyote hunting.
I think so. Yeah. If I was going to leave something home, I'd leave my binoculars home before I'd leave my squeaker
You
home.
bet. You bet.
But I firmly believe in using a binocular too, because a lot of times you'll see something that you don't know for sure if it's a coyote. Put the binoculars up.
Yep.
It is or it isn't. So it just
If you have
saves-
one hanging up there,
Oh, yep.
and if you can see them, it makes the calling so much easier.
You can watch their reaction to what you're using for
Right.
a call, and if it isn't the right thing, you can switch to something else. Or
Yep.
if they're hanging up, you can give them a little coax. If they're coming in, don't use anything else.
Yep.
So works excellent.
Yep. Well, that's pretty much everything in a nutshell for calling in coyotes. A few simple tools to help you out. Get out there, have a good time calling coyotes. It's a great off season of your deer and elk season. It helps your ranchers out with their predator problems that they have. And it makes a great population for your deer and antelope and birds, because coyotes are just devastating to all the small and big game combined. So get out there and have a good time.